Thanks for watching. If you're an advisor and want to learn more about how Avidian may be able to help you, please visit our website at avidianwealth.com and click the Partner with Avidian link. For more great content, also follow us on LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm Jim Atkinson, Managing Partner for Avidian Wealth Solutions. Today I'm speaking with David Lee. David ran his own RIA for over 30 years and spent over a decade looking for a firm to partner with. Today we'll be discussing how Avidian has helped David navigate the difficulties of making a transition and the complexities of driving client satisfaction. David, thanks for stopping by today.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I think there's 4 areas that folks might find interesting about your situation. And one, what was the motivating factor? Why did you choose to seek out a partner? 2, once you make the decision to work with another partner, where do you start? How do you find a firm like Avidian? 3, what were the primary factors that influenced you to choose Avidian? And then lastly, how do you see your succession playing out going forward? So sort of what's in the future. So maybe we can back up a little bit and maybe it's 12 years ago, because you looked for about a decade, you've been here for a couple of years, maybe it was 13 years, something like that. But there's a point in which you started to say, you know, I really need to seek out a partner, someone to work with and sort of wind down my own RIA, which you had managed for over 30 years. So was that a moment or was it a sequence of moments? How did that occur?
Yeah, it took some time. And frankly, you know, it's the death is really, or a sudden death actually, is kind of the thing that motivated me the most. I mean, I know it sounds morbid, but, you know, over the years, you know, one client might die, you know, during the year, and then the next, after a while, you know, it's like 2 or 3 clients who are passing away. And so the reality of death was very, very real. And so even friends, family passing away, a lot of people at church, passing away, and you know, in my position as a deacon of the church, I was often in a position of ministering to families that were going through grief.
Right.
And even professionally, you know, one of the first people that a client will call is myself. You know, I'd get this call and said, David, yeah, my dad just passed away. You know, I just wanted you to know, but you know, we're going to need to get together to figure out what to do. And so it was, you know, very, very real. There was the period of a few months when I was going through some chest pains. You know, I didn't know what was going on. Sure. And so I'm thinking about maybe I'm having a heart attack or something like that. It didn't turn out to be, you know, anything serious, just stress probably. But it made me think a lot about my family. Sure. You know, what would happen to my family in terms of the practice, you know, if something happened to me. And clients, you know, continually ask, I'm a solo practice. So people always ask me that, you know, if something happens to you, what happens? And I never had a good answer for them. Right. And so I think that's the main motivation, just the reality that something could happen and put my family and my clients at risk. And I know you, and I think a lot of your clients you view as family. You know, these are not just folks that you sort of manage their money. You're very close to them, and you handle a lot of these families, and in some cases, multiple generations for decades. Right. Right. And you know, I view my clients not as commodity, which is sometimes what comes across as a dollar sign or something like that. But they're really like family, friends that have grown to know and to care for, you know, over the years. I think that's the right mindset. That's how an advisor should view their clients, not as a commodity, but as family and friends that you also care for. So you have an obligation and kind of a duty, and so you were playing that out and taking care of your clients or looking out in the future and, you know, what could be something unforeseen, like we know can happen. I guess one question I'd have was, but why didn't you just choose an internal succession? Why not just, you know, bring someone in that you could train and sort of develop and teach them your way, and you know, maybe a younger guy or gal, and maybe a couple of them, and sort of do it that way, an internal succession? Well, the first reason is I'm not a very good supervisor. I'm very hands-on. I like to do the work. And the second reason is that, you know, I've always felt that it takes a lot of time and experience to build competence in this work. You know, having a CFP is just not enough. And so the clients I have, they're some are more complex, some are not. But I wanted to make sure that, you know, whoever we transition to is somebody who's competent.
We hear this over and over. I was speaking to Preston the other day, and he had wanted to be an entrepreneur and start his own practice. But you realize that to do this, you've got to wear about 6 hats, and you were wearing 6 and 7 hats, and you also had the accounting practice, right? So you're really kind of running 2 businesses.
Right.
And I guess taking the time to develop somebody over the course of a decade is probably just stretching a little too thin.
Yeah, my practice is somewhat unique. Like you said, I have a tax and accounting practice as well as a financial planning practice. So that was, it takes probably 2 people to actually transition to.
Sure. So once you make the decision to do this, to engage, and like I said, it's probably about 12 years ago, how do you go about seeking out a partner? And I guess from what you found is it's not easy, right? It's been over a decade sort of looking. And
yeah, absolutely. Trying to find the fit is the most difficult part. A company with the right culture, values, fiduciary focus, a company or a person who would care for my clients the same way I would. And so that's really been the biggest challenge. I tried networking for a while. And I came up with a few prospects, but they didn't work out. The Fidelity rep is probably the most helpful. Mm-hmm. He knew a lot of the different reps around town and familiar with the situation, what I was looking for. And so they were the most helpful in bringing people to talk to.
Mm-hmm. And they brought you a few. Right, over the
course.
They
brought me a few, and there's a few that are really engaged with some deep conversations, and we're close to signing an agreement. And there was one firm actually where we're actually doing some joint work and introduced them to my client, but it didn't work out. There was not a good fit, and so it was pretty frustrating, actually.
Sure. It was nice to see you walk in the door because you and I had met kind of in a prior life and maybe 10 years earlier. And I don't think I realized you were still out there looking for a partner. And right. I guess from there, it was a pretty good fit. Avidian uses a lot of technology and to help support advisors and a lot of support teams, support staff. Have you adapted to that well? It's a little different than the way you used to do it. How's that fit?
Well, coming from a solo practice with very simple software to Avidian and their tech stack, yeah. It's pretty challenging. It's taken me quite a while to keep up. Again, being older, it's just the tech area doesn't come as easily. But I'm impressed by the way they continue to upgrade their technology and trying to help the advisors do as much as they can, as efficiently as they can. So I've been real impressed with that and the support we're getting through some of the technology applications.
So maybe you gave us part of the answer, but maybe you can talk a little bit about some of the drivers that motivated you to come here. I guess it was sort of culture and some other things, but there's a financial planning team. You've got a little bit more depth there than certainly you had before. There's the investment team. You've got an operations team that tries to smooth out a lot of the little operational bumps and those kinds of things. How have those teams supported you, and have you found them to be quite helpful? And maybe part of your decision as to why you chose Avidian?
Again, in my situation as a sole proprietor, it was hard to keep up with everything. To be an expert in taxes as well as in investments and estate planning, and so it was nice having different specialties at Avidian. I could go to different people for solutions. I didn't have to keep up with all the journals and the most up-to-date things that are going on. So the resources that Avidian had has been very, very helpful.
That's great. That's good to hear. And as you look forward, how do you see your succession playing out? And maybe we can back up just a little bit. I think sort of our initial conversations and sort of developing your plan created the Freedom Plan. And so one of the things you told me was, hey, what if I continue to feel good? Can I just stretch out my retirement? Can I continue to manage a few clients? Is that okay? And we thought, sure, why not? You worked, 30 plus years building this book. You've certainly earned the right to stick around and continue to stay engaged. Was flexibility that play a role in your decision? And I guess, looking forward, do you feel that was the right decision to have that flexibility built into your plan?
The flexibility was great in a couple of ways. One is that with Avidian, they were willing to take all my clients. I didn't have to, they weren't cherry picking my clients. They didn't want just my good clients,
Sure.
They're
all good clients, right? They're all
great clients, But some firms are not willing to do that. They were cherry picking. They just wanted the good clients, and that kind of that just made the transition much more difficult.
Sure.
Where I am right now is that just being able to take my time in helping to transition clients over a few years. Working jointly with another advisor, slowly introducing my clients to another advisor, make sure they're comfortable, is a great way to do the transition. It gives the client a chance to be comfortable with Avidian.
Sure.
Okay. And it's a relationship business. It just takes a long time to transfer relationships. It just doesn't happen right away. And so that's been very helpful. The fact that I can still work with some of my clients has been really a great benefit. Over the years, I've developed a lot of widows in my practice. I'm not sure if that's the right term, but I have a lot of widows in my practice. And so the Bible talks a lot about ministering to widows in their time of need or affliction.
Sure.
And so as I've been thinking through this and praying through this, I felt like God wanted me to continue to work with my widows.
Right.
And so Avidian's allowed me to do that as long as I wanted to. And so that's coming out to my widows. I've met with some of these widows, and they, as we talk about this retirement transition, and they're very, very adamant. They said, David, you're not going to retire until I die. So that's the agreement we have, I'll do it as long as I can.
I was going to say, I just got to stick around as long as you can, I guess. I'm not going to let you go.
Yeah. But, just in case, if something happens to me before that time, Avidian is there, the plan is there, and they can transition to somebody else fairly simply.
Right.
So that's there. But, I think that's the main benefit that we have with Avidian is that there's a lot of peace of mind that my clients are going to be taken care of.
Have you found, so there are a lot of advisors here and multiple advisors that are sort of mid-career and have experience, but also have the CFP, and many have also a CFA and MBA, all the credentials. And I guess that gives you a pool of advisors to sort of pick from. And maybe not one advisor is right for all your clients, but you can sort of match personalities, right? As you continue
absolutely.
to do.
Some of the bigger clients are much more complex, requires quite a bit of experience. And others are fairly simple, and some are younger, some are older. So to match an advisor with the particular client has been really, at least that opportunity has been, I think, very beneficial to the transition process.
David, your transition has shaped a lot of what we call the Avidian Freedom Plan, which is the retirement plan, and you've mentored us through that, so I appreciate that. So thank you for stopping by today, and thank you for all your contributions here at Avidian.
Okay, appreciate being here.